So how hard is it to set up a smart home between the different platforms, between Google Home, Amazon Alexa, as well as Apple Home? Well, in a nutshell, Apple Home is going to be the easiest to set up, followed by Alexa and then Google Home. Now, I've mapped out all the steps, and it usually takes you 1 step to set up a new gadget in Apple Home, 7 steps in Amazon Alexa, and 6 steps in Google Home. And I've kind of come across these numbers and this conclusion after spending thousands of dollars on smart home gadgets over the last few months. But I know you might be watching this and you might be an anti-Apple fan, or you don't have anything Apple in your house. Then between the Google Home and the Amazon Alexa, go with the Amazon Alexa, because Google Home still needs to have a bit of growing up to do, we'll say. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to delve a little deeper into the installation process. This is part 1 of 4 of my ultimate Apple Home, Google Home, Amazon Alexa comparison. There's 3 other parts, so if you want to know what those parts are, check out the description as well. There's also one gigantic video if you'd rather watch this entire thing in one go. I also talk about the fundamental problem that I see with smart homes in that longer video as well. As I said earlier, it takes 7 steps to install a device in Amazon Alexa, 6 steps in Google Home, and 1 in Apple Home. Now for me, it was mind-blowing to see how much simpler the Apple Home approach was. All you have to do is install the accessory, go to your Home app, line up the HomeKit code, and just let Apple do everything else. You don't even need to install the manufacturer's app to use the device. Everything is done in the Home app. It's a 1-step installation process, 1 app setup. It's awesome. With Amazon Alexa compatible gadgets, you need to first download the manufacturer's app, link to the gadget's own Wi-Fi, install the unit, sign up for the manufacturer's web service, go to your Alexa app, find the corresponding manufacturer's Alexa skill, and link that to your account. And the worst part is that it doesn't work all the time. You go through all that and it might not work. Look at all the ratings in the Amazon Alexa skill shop. They're all very low. From my perspective, there's just so many places where something can go wrong. The app could be faulty, connecting to the web service could be faulty, the Alexa skill that you have to install could be faulty. There's 3 things that could go wrong software-wise, whereas in Apple Home, it's just 1 thing. Like it's again mind-boggling how simple Apple has made it and how every other platform has just made it so difficult to install a simple gadget. For example, trying to set up this CoolGeek Smart Plug P2 in Amazon Alexa took 3 days, multiple attempts, and multiple CoolGeek.com accounts. You compare all of this to the 3 minutes it took me to add the Smart Plug P2 to my Apple Home setup. Now compared to Alexa, Google Home eliminates the last step of finding the right skill to install, which is great. Kind of. Google Home just listed all the compatible products, which is nice, but seeing the brand doesn't necessarily mean all the products are compatible. At the time of this review, I am able to add my Nest account to Google Home, but I can't use my Nest Cam IQ with Google Home. This is surprising to me because it's not like Google owns Nest or anything. Now, I said Google Home needs a bit more work before anybody can seriously consider it. Why? Because at the time of this video, I am unable to install any of my smart home devices using an iPhone 7 Plus. Now, I contacted Google Home support and they suggested I use an Android device to do so. How is cross-platform functionality not like a thing? Like, are we back in 2001? Like, it just seems like I'm dealing with back in 2001, trying to use a Mac in a Windows environment. It just never happened, and it's all these flashbacks coming back to me about that time when I first started using Macs at the turn of the century. Like, I need an Android device to install Google Home. What? So I had to use my Galaxy S7 to install everything, but here's another kicker. The list of compatible devices is much shorter on the Android app than it is in the iOS app. Google puts out a new product in a new industry, we'll say, and the product is again underwhelming. I am again reminded of my first attempt at trying to use Android Wear. That was god-awful. As well as using Google's first tablet, the Nexus. The Nexus tablet, that was something else too. If you're finding the videos that you're watching useful, consider getting your things through my links, as I'm not sponsored by anybody. This is all the money I spend on the products comes out of my own pocket. So anything you buy through my links, I get a small commission, which helps me in the near future make more reviews about smart home gadgets. Another concern that I have for Amazon Alexa and Google Home regarding hardware is the possibility of a manufacturing going out of business. What happens if Belkin, which probably isn't going to go out of business, decides to stop making their Wemo devices, which might be a possibility? There's a good chance that my plugs are going to be useless since the support isn't going to be there anymore. With Apple Home, because manufacturers have to meet Apple's HomeKit requirements, strict requirements I'll add, there's a much higher chance that my devices will work for a while, even if the manufacturer goes out of business. On the flip side of the equation, as of right now, there are way more compatible gadgets for Amazon Alexa, but that's probably going to change in the near future, as Apple did change the HomeKit standard a bit in 2017. And so the thing you have to consider is that the setup process with an Apple Home setup is way simpler, less of a headache, but in most cases, you're only doing it once. So do you suffer through the setup processes with your Amazon Alexa and Google Home gadgets, or do you just get it over with your Apple Home? So that's really another question you have to consider. So the next part in this ultimate comparison between Apple Home, Google Home, and Amazon Alexa deals with their built native apps as well as automation. So do check that out. The links are either in the description or popping up right now as one of the cards. And yes, this is a dog wearing a tiny little tie. This bud's name, Monty. He helps me do all the reviews. Mostly because I'm very lonely in this house and he's the only companion I have. Thanks for watching!